Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanacharya Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivadakacharya Asuta Sarushi Shimad. His Divine Grace to the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakota Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Sigaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Ki Jai. Shri Maya Punabhidam Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Gau Premanandi. All glories some devotees, all glories some devotees, all glories some devotees, all glories, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, Prahlāda, the best among exalted devotees, text number 46. Ya etat punyam akyanam Vishnur Vyayopamimhitam Kirtayach Shraddhaya Shrudva Karma Pasar Vimuchyate Yaitad Punyam Akyanam Vishnur Vyayopamimhitam Kirtayat Shraddhaya Shrudva Karma Pasar Vimuchyate Yaita Punyam Akyanam Vishnu Vyayopamimhitam Kirtayat Shraddhaya Shrudva Karma Pasar Vimuchyate Yaita Punyam Akyanam Vishnu Vyayopamimhitam Kirtayat Shraddhaya Shrudva karma pasha vimuchyate. Nyaitam punyam akyanam. Vishnur viryo parimritam. Kirtayat shraddhaya shruva. Karma pasha vimuchyate.
Yahetat punyam akyanam.
Yahetat punyam akyanam. Vishnur viryo parimritam.
Kirtayat shraddhaya shruva.
Kirtayat shraddhaya shruva.
Karma pasha vimuchyate.
Karma pasha vimuchyate. Yahetat punyam akyanam. Vishnur viryo parimritam. Kirtayat shraddhaya shruva. Karma pasha vimuchyate. Yahetat punyam akyanam. Vishnur viryo parimritam. Kirtayat shraddhaya shruva. Karma pasha vimuchyate. Ya, anyone who, etat, this, punyam, pious, akyanam, narration, Vishnu, of Lord Vishnu, virya, the supreme power, upabrimhitam, in which is described, kirtayat, chants or repeats, shraddhaya, with great faith, shrutva, after properly hearing from the right source, karma pashai, from the bondage of fruitive activities, vimuchyate, becomes liberated. Translation. There's no purport, so we're going to read a few more, or a couple more verses after this. One who hears and chants this narration about the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is certainly liberated from material bondage without fail. Text number 47. Prahlāda Mahārāja was the best among exalted devotees. Anyone who, with great attention, hears this narration concerning the activities of Prahlāda Mahārāja, the killing of Hiranyakasipu, and the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nṛsiṁhadeva, surely reaches the spiritual world where there is no anxiety. You hear that, Prabhus? Surely we go back to Godhead because we've heard. Of course, it says, it's got to be very attentively, right? So that's the key. Text 48. Nārada Muni continued, my dear Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, all of you, the Pandavas, are extremely fortunate, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, lives in your palace just like a human being. Great saintly persons know this very well, and therefore they constantly visit this house. Purport. After hearing about the activities of Prahlāda Mahārāja, a pure devotee should be very anxious to follow in his footsteps. But such a devotee might be disappointed, thinking that not every devotee can come to the standard of Prahlāda Mahārāja. This is the nature of a pure devotee. He always thinks himself to be the lowest, to be incompetent and unqualified. Thus, after hearing the narration of Prahlāda Mahārāja's activities, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, who was on the same standard of devotional service as Prahlāda, might have been thinking of his own humble position. Nārada Muni, however, could understand Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira's mind, and therefore he immediately encouraged him by saying that the Pandavas were not less fortunate. They were as good as Prahlāda Mahārāja because, although Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva appeared for Prahlāda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in its original form as Krishna, was always living with the Pandavas. Although the Pandavas, because of the influence of Krishna's Yogamaya, could not think of their fortunate position, every saintly person, including the great sage Nārada, could understand it, and therefore they constantly visited Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira. Any pure devotee who is constantly conscious of Krishna is naturally very fortunate. The word nirloke, meaning within the material world, indicates that before the Pandavas there had been many devotees, such as the descendants of the Yadu dynasty and Vasishtha, Marichi, Kashyapa, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva, who were all extremely fortunate. The Pandavas, however, were better than all of them because Krishna himself lived with them constantly. Nārada Muni, therefore, specifically mentioned that within this material world, nirloke, the Pandavas were the most fortunate. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshram Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kurtavachalang Pangam Langhayate Garim Yat Kripa Taraham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vanshakapatri Vishta Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada has very kindly, by establishing this Krishna consciousness movement, introduced us to many great personalities whom we can follow in the footsteps of. And here Prabhupada says that we should try to follow in the footsteps of Prahlāda Mahārāja. That's a high standard to follow. Prahlāda Mahārāja, he was such a great devotee. He was one of the three who was in the category of the Mahājans, and he was one of the best examples in the 9 processes of devotional service. There was only 3. He was one of them. Swayambhur Nārada Sambhu, Kumara Kapila Manu, Prahlāda Janakobhija, Balir Vyasakir Vayam. And Prahlāda Mahārāja, he was the best at remembering. Remembering. He was the best at remembering. In so many dangerous situations, he didn't forget Krishna. Generally, when people are in a very dangerous situation, it's hard to remember. But he always remembered Krishna. So he's a great example. Another of those is Bali Mahārāja. He was one of the Mahājans, right? Swayambhur, Nārada, Kumara, Kapila, Prahlāda Janakobhija, Balir Vyasakir Vayam. And he was the best at, in the 9 processes, surrendering everything. And who was the last one? There's one more. Huh? But that was, Sukadeva Goswami. He was the best at chanting, and he's also one of the Mahājans. Now he's but is he one of the Mahājans? Swayambhur, Nārada, Kumara, Kapila, Prahlāda, Janaka, Balir, Vyasakya. Yeah, and which one was in the 9 processes? Which one did he? In the 9, I don't think he's on the 9. Yeah, Swayambhunya. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Parasya, Archanam, Vandanam Dasham, Sakyam Atma. I don't think he's in the, I was just mentioning that, who was in both of those. So he wasn't in both of those. So we have amazing devotees that we could follow in the footsteps of. And to remember Krishna, this is the goal, to always remember Krishna. Yeah, there's many distractions in this Kali Yuga. We've been bombarded by mass weapons of distraction, so it's difficult to remember Krishna. Fortunately, we've been given this Hare Krishna mantra, which helps us to remember Krishna. We also have nice books to read that helps us to remember, and association with devotees. All these different ways we can remember Krishna. And here, another wonderful example is Nārada Muni. Prabhupada mentions in the purport, my favorite, Nārada Muni. He said, he's so many nice teachings he gives. I think you mentioned that he's in every canto. Yeah. He's in every canto, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he says, Yayavache yadainyam maitra chastayam maitita. He says an intelligent person should cultivate utter humility with his thoughts, with his words, and his actions. And anything that gets in the way of that should be rejected. And here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions this humility. Humility is so important. This very much attracts Krishna. Just like we know the amazing pastime of Sanatana Goswami, who was the emblem of humility. He was such a great devotee, so intelligent. He knew so many languages, and he was just so popular. He was a minister, and just so. But he went to Lord Chaitanya, and he said, "You know, people, they say I'm a great scholar and very intelligent, but Kayami, I don't even know who I am. Who am I?" Very humble. You know, there's 4 devotees of Lord Chaitanya, and they exhibited different qualities. And Sanatana Goswami, he exhibited that quality of humility. And tolerance, that was Haridas Thakur. But he was also, he was an incredible example of someone who tolerated he was actually overcome sex desire. Because Maya herself came to entice him, and we can't imagine how beautiful she is. We shouldn't imagine us. Very attractive, and he just wasn't fazed at all. Yeah. Completely transcendental. And actually, she became inspired by him. And then there's another instance, the prostitute came to get him to fall down. And he was going to leave, but he thought, let me make her a devotee. You know, exhibiting all these different postures, you know, and he just like, completely transcendental, just saw the body as the machine that it is. And Ramananda Roy, another amazing example. He was the example of someone who also completely overcame sex desire. He used to arrange dramas. And sometimes, for whatever reason, he would touch their private parts, and it was like touching wood. Because you think about it, the body is just dead. It's just dead matter. But because the soul is in there, it appears attractive. Just like here in America now, we have Miss America, very beautiful, and I'm sure any man that sees such a beautiful woman would be attracted. But if the soul leaves the body, who would be attracted? Nobody. Especially after 7 days. Yeah. Decomposes. So the body is attractive as long as the soul is there. And why is the soul so attractive? Because it's part of Krishna. You can imagine how attractive Krishna is. So attractive. And then I think Damodar Pandit, he was the example of someone who taught constructive criticism. Devotees are very careful. And then there's he what? Oh yeah. Yeah. So many wonderful examples that we have to follow that inspire us, and even contemporary. Here we have wonderful devotees. You just mentioned Vaiseshika Prabhu. He's just like, there's the book Bhagavat, and there's a person Bhagavat. He's a person Bhagavat. He's just totally fixed, and decades, just totally fixed, absorbed in Krishna. So many wonderful examples. And Yudhiṣṭhira here, Krishna is mentioning that, or no, who is it? Who's speaking here? This is Sukadeva Goswami? Or Nārada Muni speaking. Nārada Muni speaking that Krishna, he lived. It says here, he constantly lived. I mean, that's a long time. He was living. Imagine that. Krishna's living in your home. I mean, wow. Amazing. Why? Because there were such great devotees. Such great devotees. Krishna was so pleased. And this is why Krishna wanted Yudhiṣṭhira to be the king. This is why there was the battle of Kurukshetra. He wanted Yudhiṣṭhira to be the king, because he was such a pure devotee of Krishna. So that's another example that we can follow. And I've been reading this book, Sri Vaibhava, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava. Amazing. He's another amazing example. Just like sometimes people, they want to see God. But he says, don't try to see God, but try to act in such a way that God wants to see you. Amazing. Completely turns things around. And yesterday I was reading it. He says that Krishna he's drashta. He's the seer. He sees us. And we're the drishya. We're to be seen. We're meant to be seen. Sometimes we want to enjoy the beauty of Krishna, but actually we're meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. So, therefore, we should always be in an exemplary state of mind and action, so that Krishna, he appreciates. It's like we have Mangalartik and we have greeting the deities in the morning. So, what is better? That we're here waiting for the curtains to open, or that Krishna is waiting for us to show up? Yeah, better that we're waiting for Krishna. When the curtains open, we're here. Oh, Jai Krishna. Then 5 or 10, 15 minutes later, we kind of show up. Oh, finally you made it. No, he's waiting for us. He's waiting for us to show up 15 minutes late. 20 minutes late. Just like there's different. There's the Lions Club. People show up for Shringadev's prayers, and then there's the fan club. There's the fire department. Yeah, they got the lamp going. That's the fire department. You got the fan club, huh? The garden club, Tulsi Puja. No, better. Yeah. Better we're here before the curtains open, and then Krishna sees us. Yeah. That shows some enthusiasm. Oh, you're here, very good. And there's not much enthusiasm when you show up late. Where's the enthusiasm? Yeah, Krishna, he is there. There's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, there's people that want to see Krishna, but seeing Krishna begins with the ear. With the ear, you prepare to see with the eyes. So the more we hear properly, clearly, with devotion, then eventually the eyes we will be able to see. And that just doesn't just mean, reading the books, but hearing the holy name. This is one of the major offenses that we commit, is inattentive chanting, inattentive reading. Anybody have the experience? You read a whole page and nothing went in? You ever had that experience? You read a whole page and absolutely nothing went in, and you're thinking of something else. It's like japa. Sometimes we chant, a round of japa and didn't hear anything. So, therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said the mind is a non-devotee. And this is why it's so hard to hear. The mind doesn't want to hear. The mind, because it's impure, it wants sense gratification. Let's think of something more, dynamic, it's boring. Come on. The mind is a rascal. So the mind is in a bhakti program. We're trying to turn it into a devotee. It's very difficult because the mind has been a non-devotee for how long? Time immemorial. Millions of lifetimes, because the mind is subtle. It's been with us, the soul, for who knows how long. So now, this one life, we're trying to turn this rascal mind into a devotee. Big challenge. Is it possible? Prabhupada said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. So Krishna can do anything, right? He creates universes. He lifts Govardhana. He does so many things. So we just have to endeavor very sincerely, and with so many wonderful examples. And Prabhupada also, what a wonderful example. Prabhupada, such determination. What inspired him to do what he did was a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Yavasya meka buddhir ekeha kurna bahusaka hinanta buddhiyo vivasayana. That those who are on this path, they're resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. However, the intelligence of those who are not on this path, it's many-branched. Many-branched. So this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This is, he got inspiration from Vishwanath Chakravarti, who also had this one-pointed, focused determination. Yeah. And this is, I was just reading that the religious principles is found in this one verse. Anukoyasya sankalpa pratikryasya varjana rakshishati vishvashu goptripte sarnamyata atmaniksepa karpanye sabdha sarnagati. This is the surrender verse. Accept things that are favorable for devotional service. So Prabhupada, right from the first time he met his spiritual master, he was given an instruction that is very favorable for devotional service. And that is spreading Krishna consciousness. Very favorable. And he could see the purity, the potency of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And therefore he immediately accepted, this is my spiritual master. But he wasn't able to actually fulfill that order until 43 years later. But he said, better late than never. So yeah, Prabhupada is a wonderful example, just focused on the order of the spiritual master. And it's said that the potency, the ability to follow the order of the spiritual master is there within the instructions. So this is some thoughts on this verse. Is there any question? Yes, Mahārāja, or comment, or reflection.
Yeah, I just have a quick comment. You were talking about how it's not easy to remember Krishna at the time of death, at the beginning of your class, you were saying. So people send me things which I much appreciate. This was some article, and it was saying, because they have those black boxes in airplanes that record, the last, what happened. And they say that I don't know what the percentage was, it was like 95%, which means practically everyone, the pilots, when the plane's about to crash, a few say, "Oh God." Most remember their mother or swear.
Yeah.
There's a few that say, "Oh God," but most they swear or say their mother. So we think it'll be easy to remember, but not so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a verse.
So easy to get this.
There's a verse, Krishna Tudiya Padapankuja Pancharajam Adhyayavameva Satumana Sarajangsa Prana Prayana Samayoga Pavata Vita Kanta Varodana Varos Varanam Kutaste. Kulashekar? King Kulashekar. He says, I pray that the swan of my mind may immediately go down to the lotus feet of Krishna, to the what is the lotus flower, the lotus feet? The stem of the lotus feet of Krishna, and get locked up with a network. Otherwise, if I wait to the end of my life, when my throat is choked up, my memory is weak, how will it be possible for me to think of you? So it's a beautiful prayer. He didn't want to wait till the end of the life when it's difficult. Sometimes, there was one devotee, sannyasi, he was in a coma. What was he? I forgot his name. American. But he used to spend a lot of time in Europe. Yeah, he was in a coma. Then finally, after, I don't know, a few months, he left his body. So he was.
We don't know what was going on in that coma.
Well, you know what Prabhupada said about a coma? Anybody know?
It wasn't a general statement. It was about Franco. But it doesn't mean when a devotee's in a coma.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, so he's saying, I want to leave when I'm good and healthy, strong, thinking of Krishna, rather than, because you get old. Some of us are getting old now. It's like so many, we're all getting old. Some of us are there. Some are getting old and some of us are there. And it's, the bodies are kind of, all kinds of things going wrong. I'm reading about King Pāṇḍavas now, how he's leaving the city. And it's like, the body's just, the city's breaking down, So it happens. So we have to be, actually our whole life is a preparation for the final exam. If we pass the final exam, what happens? We go back home. If we fail, then we got to stay here. You got to stay here. Of course. Yeah, well, take birth in a devotee family, maybe. But what's interesting? Prabhupada had how many? Five children? Prabhupada, Paramahamsa, Parivrajakacharya. How many of them became a devotee? Not one. One was favorable. One of them even sued ISKCON, got a lot of money from us. Prabhupada, he was born in the son of Prabhupada. Advaita Acharya had 6 sons. 3 became Mayavadis. He's God. You couldn't get better than that. He's a son of God. Narakasura also, right? He was a son of God. So better take it seriously this life. Don't think, I'll get another chance next life, be born in a devotee family. Don't waste time, Avyartha kaladvang, don't waste time. And that's a tough one now in this age of all this technology. You know? It's such a shame. I was in the airport maybe a few weeks ago, and there were some kids there and their family, and they were just everyone. I was sitting there, and they were talking, about their video games. So I said, "Do you guys ever play baseball? Do you ever play baseball? Baseball? No. Football? No. When we were kids, that was it. Baseball, football. We'd go out to the park, isn't it? Get exercise. But these kids, they're just absorbed. They're just absorbed in these video games, just totally absorbed. Like 50 years ago, I think Kesava Swami was saying that 50 years ago, people were bored sometimes. But now, nobody's bored. People are lonely, yeah. But they're not bored. They have these devices. They don't have, association, but they got their devices, their games, and all these, things that are.
I take this walk up pretty much every day up the Cass, and it's pretty early, so there's not that many people. But some of them have the dogs, and the others have the phone they're not really where they are, they're not really present with you. I try to say good morning or whatever, there's still a few. No one's just like where you're at.
Yeah. Actually, we're all guinea pigs with these phones because they've only been around for 30 years, a little bit more than 30 years, 35 years. So much radiation is coming from these phones. And people are already leaving their bodies because they're getting cancer in this area, the ear area. So after 60 years, just like they didn't know cigarettes were dangerous, and then they found out. And so eventually we may find on our phones that using this phone may be dangerous to yourself, to your health. We may find that in the near future. It's already happening, and it's only been 30, 35 years. You have a question?
Hare Krishna. Actually, one quick thing. Apparently, there's the artificial intelligence friends you can have on your phone now that people become addicted to or whatever. But my question is...
AI friends.
Yeah. They talk. Yeah, they get to know you, everything about you. You start telling them things, apparently, and yeah, it's...
Oh my God.
And they're always supportive and encouraging.
I haven't experienced it. I've just heard about it. Oh, you have? Okay.
Oh my God.
They're very, you like her better than your own wife. They criticize. She's always supportive. Get back to get the radio.
My question, though, is can you give maybe some more examples of humility in action of somebody?
Humility in action. Very good question. Actually, humility doesn't just mean very gentle and respectful, but it actually means ultimately it means following the instructions of Krishna. We're getting so many instructions from Krishna and the spiritual master. This is real humility. Just like Hanuman, he got this duty to find Sita from Ram. So he found Sita, and he found the demon, Ravana, and in all humility, he practically destroyed the city. In all humility. And Arjuna, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he's fighting like anything. Yudhiṣṭhira too. Such a humble way. They're all fighting like anything in all humility. So following the order of Krishna, the order of the spiritual master, this is humility. And Prabhupada also mentions in a purport, he says, humility means not desiring the satisfaction of being honored by others. That's a powerful statement there, because we have that desire. Who doesn't have that desire? We like to be honored by others. But you know, it's interesting, Raghunath Das Goswami, if someone praised him, he would run away. And if someone criticized him, he would stay. And he would listen. And he would say, yeah, good one. More. Let's hear some more. That's humility. Yeah? But generally, if someone criticizes us, like, what does he know? Just envious. So, and if someone praises us, like, whoa, finally someone has understood. So, in Kali Yuga, it's difficult to be humble. So we can pray to these humble devotees, Hanuman. And, Sanatana Goswami. We can pray to humble Vaishnavas to also be humble. But the reason they're so humble is because they're absorbed in Krishna, and they understand the greatness of Krishna. If we hear again and again and again the greatness of Krishna, we understand how small we are. Right? I mean, who are we? But if we hear again and again and again, then it'll sink in. Krishna's great. I'm small. Very small. Okay? Anything online? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.